Vomiting Rainbows, Halloween edition.
That's right. Mike and Doug, or should we say Grumpy Pants and Doug?
Grumpy
It's kind of
Pants.
grumpy on this podcast, right?
You got a little,
yeah. What do you call that?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah,
a lot of that.
Kind of cranky?
Yeah, cranky.
Cranky.
Technophobic.
Apathetic. A little
apathetic.
ageist in there. I think I had some ageism in there.
Right. So we talk about everything from the election, The Walking Dead. We talk about people who don't take care of their children. We talked about people who shouldn't be driving and doing the things that they're doing. And that was pretty much it in a nutshell. Oh, and of course, Satan 2.
That's right, Satan 2. If you don't know what Satan 2 is, listen to episode 13.
Vomiting Rainbows. This is a podcast where I tell my buddy Mike, some stories, and he chews them up and spits them back in a colorful rainbow.
That's right.
See, I came up with a little tagline for us.
I like that.
Do you like it?
Chews them up and spits them up in a colorful rainbow. I saw a rainbow the other week, and I thought of us.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was,
was there a big skull spitting it out?
There wasn't, but it was a pretty awesome rainbow. I was like, hey.
All right, you've got to do this for me next time. You've got to install Snapchat.
Oh, man. Dude.
But the next time you got to take a picture of your face. Your kids will show you how to do it. But then you got to get a picture. This filter only comes up on Sunday for some reason.
Okay.
And it's the vomiting rainbow filter.
I've seen you took a screenshot of it. I've seen it. Yeah, but I mean, you're asking me to do a lot of things, Doug.
I know.
Like
It's
download another app.
complicated.
I mean, I already have like 4 apps on my iPhone. How many more do I need? I mean, come on.
Just one more.
I don't know. It's a lot, dude. I can't promise that.
Dude.
I don't like messing with my phone. I'm such a weird person when it comes to adding things to my phone or update. I didn't even want to update it.
Mike, as Abraham would say, suck my nuts.
I know. Exactly. I got a bat in my hand. Watch out.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, so on my way over here, I didn't get a chance to read this, but the FBI just released like a 7-year-old document that Bill Clinton pardoned like one of his friends.
Yeah.
Like as one of his last things. It's like,
Yeah, they always do that.
Yeah,
every president does that. Like at the last day in office, they like pardon dudes.
So this guy
crimes and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so he pardoned this guy against further crimes.
Yeah.
And the FBI released this. This was already public information, but they released it again. And it really seems like Comey and the FBI are really starting to meddle in the election.
Yeah.
Like this is...
Doesn't that always happen, though? I mean, isn't there always meddling in some way or another?
Yeah, but not from
the FBI?
This is like, this is supposed to be like the highest organization of our law.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
are they part of the legislative branch? What are they, Doug?
We don't know these things. We're not like a well-organized, well-thought-out podcast, but...
No, yeah, I have noticed that. It seems like the news went away from one guy grabbing other people's crotches to the FBI releasing all these emails, and there's been
somehow Anthony Weiner's back in the news again.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Yeah, and I don't. I mean, I just read the headlines. I'm that kind of guy. I mean,
right.
I'm that uninformed when it comes to politics. But the thing is, this is the truth of the matter. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It was Hillary Clinton's birthday the other day.
Right.
She's 69 years old.
Uh-huh.
She's 69.
Right.
Like, my parents are like 70, 74. Like, they don't know how to work emails. Like, they don't know, like, I'm just saying, I'm not saying like she gets a tech pass because she's old. And I'm not trying to be ageist, even though I am being ageist.
Right.
But it's like, hey, the lady's 69 years old. I mean, so she makes a mistake on an email thing or whatever, So she makes a mistake and presses the wrong button and blows up the world. Like, whatever. Someone's got to lead the country, and they can't know how to do everything. Am I making any sense, Doug?
Yeah, but no, I know, but it's so obviously. Here's the thing that this has gone from.
Yeah.
It's gone from an investigation on a mail server to like a complete investigation on the Clinton Foundation and like, are they doing paper play and like all this other stuff? And it's just become like this. Like it's basically like they're just raffling through all to try and find something in a scurry.
Yeah.
I
think people that are outraged by politicians being bought, they're like, I can't. This is outrageous. This is wrong. It's like study some world history.
Right.
This is how politics has been done since the Greeks and Romans. I mean, this is just it's corrupt. It's a corrupt system. Every system is corrupt, and if you don't, I'm not saying you should accept that or you shouldn't fight against injustices and things that are wrong. But at the same time, there's like there's levels of tolerance for all things in life. Like the fact is that the FDA says that there's a level of acceptable tolerance of rat shit in food that you eat. So,
right.
It's okay. They'll sell it even though they know that there's rat shit in that can because there's acceptable levels of tolerance for things that are bad, And I'm not trying to address Hillary Clinton specifically or Donald Trump specifically. I'm just talking politics in general. If you think we're going to have a perfect system, you're living in a false reality. I mean, it's just it's a messed up system by nature.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so this guy, Mark Rich, fled to Switzerland when he faced charges against tax fraud and tax evasion.
This is the guy that got pardoned?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he basically did what Trump did, like grade the lines and then got caught.
Yeah.
And I think that's Clinton, he died. This guy, Mark Rich, died in 2013.
Yeah.
He was pardoned in 2001. So, I mean, why are they bringing it up now?
Well, I mean, the election's like in a week or something. So
yeah,
I mean,
I know. But there's this long-standing rule that if there's an investigation going on, that the FBI or any state agency should withhold that investigation or release all the information pertaining to it prior to the election. So you shouldn't, because otherwise it looks like partisan politics jumping in because
that's what it looks like.
Comey is a Republican. So he's like jumping in, and it's, I'm just befuddled by that. I can't believe that.
You really can't believe that a guy who's like, do you know anything about Comey? I mean, who's he appointed to? How did he get his job? I mean, to me, it's like
he was appointed, I think, by Bush.
Yeah, I'm sure if you follow his career path, he probably owes people favors, right? I mean, and someone's making a phone call saying, "Hey, dig up some dirt." I mean,
yeah, but it's kind of like pay for play, but from the FBI.
Sure.
So
sure.
it's everything that he is saying that he's fighting against is probably he's getting these calls, and they're like, "You got to do this, you got to do that." And he's
it's
like,
possible. I mean, and that's the thing is I guess, man, it's so funny, Doug, because growing up, I kind of, I believed a lot differently, and I thought a lot differently than I do now. And to me, like, nothing's shocking. Like, it's just things have gotten so ridiculous, in my opinion, as far as leadership in this country, that like nothing would surprise me. Like, absolutely nothing. Like,
no.
It's just okay, yeah. And unfortunately, not that I'm apathetic, but I find that if I get too fired up on it or pay too much attention to it, it just makes me want to like run into a wall. And I think life's too short to let things that you can't control make you run into a wall. Like that. That's how I feel.
Well, obviously the election's huge news.
It is.
But I don't know. I feel like I mean, to give you an idea of how crazy things are right now, Russia just announced that they have a missile called the Satan II.
That is an awesome name for a missile.
Isn't
I mean,
it?
I don't, I hope we never see the Satan II, land in our country, but that is a cool name.
It's a cool name. It is also a missile that can destroy a country the size of France.
Oh my God!
One missile.
Is it? It's atomic. It's
atomic.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine? This thing is terrifying, and it like literally was just a blip in the news.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, okay, well, there's this huge missile, whatever. What about Hillary's email?
But Satan II, I mean, how does that not get headlines? I mean, that sounds, Satan II. Who's Russia going to use it against? Who do you think?
Well, I mean, it depends on who gets elected. I mean, if Trump gets elected, then, definitely not us.
Yeah.
Because pretty soon Putin will be over here all the time.
Yeah.
Chilling out.
They're
the White
buddies,
House.
right?
What?
They're buddies, right? Aren't they?
Apparently he doesn't know him except for they've hung out.
Yeah. Crazy. The Satan II. That is, that's awesome. That's such a great name. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think that illustrates my point. It's, you look at the politics, you look at kind of the tabloid essence of this election, and it's so ridiculous. And then you read that there's the Satan II missile that could basically level the state of California in 5 minutes. You're kind of like, well, okay, I can worry about these two buffoons, or I can worry about the Satan missile, or I can just go about my life and realize, which is, I know that's probably a pretty lame way to kind of take a stance about the world we live in and the future of our country and all that stuff. But it's, I guess I partially feel just a little defeated and a little bit, it's like exhausting.
The whole election is now, like, everybody just wanted to get it over with, and now it's it's like gone over it's jumped the shark on exhausting to now just ridiculousness.
It's like an overtime game where you just want someone just to score and win. Like, just end the game, get this over with.
That is, that's perfectly on the nose. That's exactly how I describe it. It's like, this is a game that's gone into overtime. Trump was considered completely out of the running, and then now it's like,
is he back in? This is the thing. Do you really believe that Trump has a chance to win now because of these emails? You really think that that he can recover from his sensational talk and his language use and his offensiveness? I mean,
I hope not.
Or let me ask you a question: is the media just trying to milk the last week of this to make some kind of drama? You know what I mean? That's the other thing too. Is I just tend to think that a lot of this is just we need a story so people keep watching our news stories.
Well, yes, I agree that obviously there's news cells and they're trying to pump up their news cycle.
Yeah, they need a story, right?
Right, exactly. But there's another aspect to this that I feel is even more, is that the fact that right now everybody's voting, and it's like early voters, people overseas, and everything that comes out is turning people away. So,
they just don't want people to vote.
That's what Trump's that's his plan, is to turn off.
Like me, he turned me off. Yeah, what you're saying.
Exactly.
I'm apathetic, so I'm like, I don't want to vote.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. That's all he wants, is to lower Hillary's turnout.
He's pulling my strings.
Yeah, he's totally pulling your strings.
I got to vote. I got my car. I got my thing in the mail. I just haven't put it in the mail yet.
Yeah. Well, I went today because of all of that. I was like, I got to go vote right now. So I went and voted today just because I was like early voting, and they were like, hey, do you want to take the ballot with you? And I was like, fuck no, I want to get it done right now.
Yeah.
Like,
put it in.
Yeah. It was crazy. And then there's like crazy things on the bill that no one in California is really paying attention
about? Yeah.
Which is like, for example, medical marijuana is going to switch to legal.
Yeah,
and
recreational use.
Recreational
that hasn't
use
passed yet?
No, it's on the bill for this time.
But it'll pass, right?
Maybe.
It's got to.
Yeah, hopefully.
It has to.
And then the other one is the Affordable Drug Act, which Bernie Sanders supported, and that one's on the bill as well.
And that will pass too, right?
Maybe.
Like the point is like when there's people with horrific diseases and companies are charging $5 billion a pill when the pill costs 3 cents to make.
Right.
And listen, I'm a full capitalist. I think people should be able to make money and not necessarily be regulated but in some circumstances where it's like it's a matter of life and death for somebody, like maybe you could cut your profits instead of by 10,000, you could cut it down to 5,000 so someone could afford a pill to keep them alive.
Right.
So I think that there's some balance there.
Exactly. And so like the repeal of Obamacare and all the stuff that's going on is just, all this is just noise to like bigger issues.
Yeah.
And
what's the number one issue?
The number one issue right now?
I mean, like that's the thing is I didn't watch every debate, but basically my my view on the choice here is like someone who's actually been a member of our government for her whole life, and then a dude who's a businessman.
Yeah,
it's like that's kind of like I haven't really heard them explain too many issues, or there's not like a typical thing.
Let's look at a couple of things that are disconcerting. One of which is the Trump saying that he's going to dissolve countries that aren't paying for NATO.
Yeah.
So he's going to.
So what does that mean? How do you do Satan II? You dissolve a country by Satan II.
Think about this. Russia just announced like this horrific new weapon.
Yeah.
Putin is chumming up to Trump, and Trump is talking about dissolving the only thing that's keeping Putin in check.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how can no one see this as like
you're like putting all the strings together?
Yeah, it's just
I mean, I would say we're probably overdue for a mass world war. I mean, if you look at it historically, right? I mean, I'm not trying to be like a total downer, but I mean, it's.
Well, let's just talk about The Walking Dead then.
It's about time. It's about time we got to get that industrial military complex rolling again. Come on.
I'm just saying, like we got off the rails just because I saw this before I came over here, and it just got me all fired up.
That's okay, man.
And then now let's just talk about something overwhelmingly joyful. So
I'm just bumming you out because I'm like, I'm totally apathetic. I don't believe really that our government. I think it's all corrupt, and I think we're due for a world war. There you go. Vomiting rainbows.
Yes, exactly. But I do think that's a lot of it. And then we had The Walking Dead, which like full on killed two of our favorite characters. Well, at least Glenn was my favorite. Abraham, I was like,
yeah, he was all right.
He was all right. I didn't really care.
Now, okay, so
he had the best dying line ever, though.
Yeah, he did. But so my question is, are we talking about both episodes, episode 1 and 2? Are we doing a double whammy right now?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can kind of. The one thing in episode 1 was it was just really a long recap. Like it was like they killed these two characters, but really to show like all the tribulations that they've been through before, and kind of as a retrospective of all this stuff.
Yeah, and there were some things that I'm not sure. I mean, obviously it's a TV show. They can't kill all the characters off. They need to extend it. They need to build the suspense. But The Walking Dead, and I'm a fan of the show, but there are times when I'm watching it where I'm just like, come on. Like I don't like how everyone's clean shaven.
Right.
I don't like how everyone has nice haircuts. I don't like the fact that like
they've all had a bath.
Yeah, like the guy who's like the leader of like this crazy crew and has like an iron fist. Like he's gonna take Rick and throw a hatchet up on the roof and go about all this stuff. Like it's like, dude, like they're not gonna do that. They're just gonna kill Rick. They're gonna kill all those people.
Yeah.
But then there's no show. But and then even like the thing like, when they're gonna when Rick's gonna cut his kid's hands off, or even like the fact that Daryl could run and like punch the guy.
Right.
It's like, so you're telling me you guys aren't even handcuffed?
Right.
And you're not like just going out in a blaze of glory? Like, what are you talking? Like, who cares if you get all mowed down? Like, your friends are going to get hit in the head with a bat. Like,
yeah. I mean, you just watched two of your friends beat to death.
Yeah, like you basically, and you're not even like tied down. You basically bum rush the leader and try to rip his eyeballs out. Like in my post-apocalyptic world, that's where I go out.
Yeah.
And get taken out. Like, whether I get shot in the back of that, whatever, I just look at everyone and go, let's get that motherfucker. And like, we just all run and get shot before we get to him. Or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like,
or just kill him somehow.
Yeah, like,
at least one person will kill him.
Yeah, I'm trying to kill that guy or get killed as quickly as possible because I don't want to get cut up in little pieces. I don't want to be tortured. I don't want to be
beaten in the head several times until
bat
you
or
die.
whatever. I mean, so that's the thing is that you kind of. I think what's fun about these shows is you kind of put yourself in the situation that you're watching, and I'm just like, this wouldn't happen. Like, it would not happen. Like a dude would not, like, you would not cut your kid's arm off or even pick up that hatchet.
Well, and the other thing is these groups of like Lord of the Flies groups that are out there.
Yeah.
Like they remember how they all had like the W in their head?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this master group that all had W's doesn't have W's anymore?
Is that the same group?
I think so.
I think it's a different group.
I think it is. So remember, in episode 2, they said you killed one of the survivors. They're called survivors, right?
Well, this is the thing, is that I think the saviors is what they're
saviors.
Called. But this is the thing, is that remember when those people took Carol?
Yeah.
Okay? And then they went and they raided that complex and they killed all those people?
Yeah.
Those were saviors. Those were like this guy's people.
Right.
So the retribution that you're seeing is for when they went to that camp and killed everybody.
Right. But but remember that all happened because the saviors came into their camp and killed all of them.
I thought the W people were like the Weeblos or something. Like they were something. I thought they were something different.
I think Weeblos are like little Boy Scouts.
That's the problem with the show too, is that there's just too many of this. There's too much of the same story and too much of the same themes that it gets confusing. And but
so are you saying you're disenchanted with the election and with
I know, dude.
with Walking Dead?
Get off my lawn!
Get off my lawn!
I guess I just want something new and different.
Right.
I mean, and I was tripping out. I mean, Walking Dead's been on since 2010.
Yeah.
It's a long time now.
There were kids that said on the Talking Dead after show that they wrote Glenn and they said, like, I'm so sorry that your character got killed because I've grown up with you.
Yeah.
And he was like, holy shit, they actually could have. He stopped and he was like, he put it all together and he was like, that actually could happen.
It's weird. But overall, I thought the first episode was good. It was definitely a little gory, a little intense, a little ridiculous. A lot of like the whole like Rick and the guy going out in the van for a test or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the guy, I got to see the look in your
I got to see
eye.
that look.
Yeah, like that's just, dude, no matter how much of a badass or whatever kind of psychopath you are in the post-apocalyptic zombie world, like, you're not going to put that kind of effort into it to be dramatic. You're just not.
No.
You're just going to kill the guy. I mean,
yeah, or like, even if you had him chop off his son's arm.
Yeah.
Like, basically, you're making somebody so, remember in Game of Thrones that they took that one king, they cut off his dick, and like, they did all that horrible stuff to him.
Yeah,
and then like he came back to like annihilate the king.
Yeah, you're planting seeds of just
exactly. Yeah. You're basically saying I want this super arch rival, and no one does that. They just annihilate them.
Yeah, and this is what's interesting too, though, about The Walking Dead, episode 1 and episode 2. Like, episode 1 was this real kind of dark, really intense, bloody, gory kind of episode. Kind of what I think a lot of people watch The Walking Dead for, is this kind of cathartic release. Episode 2, like, all dialogue, no action.
No.
King Ezekiel, just really goofy.
And the tiger.
And the tiger
that he rescued from the zoo.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is like, and then this is the thing I don't like about this season already, is because The Walking Dead just put their cards on the table, right?
Yeah.
You have like good
versus evil,
and obviously these two clans, the kingdom and these savior guys, are going to clash,
right?
You know, in the finale.
But this is what it is. It's so I read. I can't remember. I think it might have been Vanity Fair did like a deconstruction of The Walking Dead, and they basically said it's a Western. It's not a zombie film. It's really the good guys roll into town, or the bad guys roll into town, and then the good guys have to like fight them off, and it's that story over and over,
which
and
is
over.
fine. I mean, I don't, you know,
right.
like I watch it. I mean,
I like it.
Yeah.
I just kind of want them to like get a little bit more on top and less of this like, oh, we're going to beat them down to nothing. And then
I just think that with all the creative juices and what they've laid out, they could just be a little bit more, they could take us into just more interesting areas of our thought process about survival. Like they could spend a little bit of time of like, where are these guys getting their fresh razors, and where are they getting like, you know what I mean? Like just have them do some, like, I liked in the beginning when they were like Glenn would go out and like scavenge for like a little bit of food. Right. You know, and now they never address that stuff. It's just like, there's always food. There's always like,
they're always somehow growing.
Yeah. It's always like all that stuff's taken care of. That basic survival stuff is just taken care of. And I think that I enjoyed the earlier episodes, because it was very like, they had like all they had was what was on their back, and they were just had to deal with everything, the elements, and you know, no one ever gets sick. Like, it's just, you know, like it's just kind of, it kind of just, it feels like a, it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel so lame. I'm like, it's not real enough, because it's,
remember the thing of the governor, and then like the new Texas Army or whatever, they were like starting to reform the U.S. or whatever, and then that whole storyline just somehow got lost.
Yeah. I liked it when they were in the prison. Like, I thought that was cool. Like,
yeah, the prison was good.
Because that makes sense. Like, yeah, go to, like, that's a great place to be, you know?
Have you watched American Horror Story?
I haven't, no.
Okay. So in American Horror Story, and one of them, they, this latest season, they do a lot of what you're talking about. They're like, look, you know what we're going to do. We're going to do some horrific thing. And then they stop it. It ends in, like, half season, like, really quick. And everyone's like, why?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go next? And then the guy goes in and they start a new season, or he's pitching to a board of like TV execs.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so here's our thing. Now we're going to go back and we're going to take the actors and the real people and we're going to put them in a house together. And then they're going to like live together in this horror house. and relive the experience. The survivors are going to relive the experience together.
Yeah.
That kind of a pseudo real world bullshit type thing.
Yeah.
But as they just completely flipped the idea on its head.
Yeah.
And it's pretty entertaining.
That's cool. And I guess that's the thing is I understand you got to kind of keep your core actors like Rick and the whole, you got to kind of carry that. But I guess the thing is, I would just like to see like a total, like what's going on somewhere else, or just introduce like all new characters, or just, I mean, I know they've had a couple spin-off shows,
right?
You know, to kind of answer those questions. I guess that's the thing is I'm just kind of bored of these guys. Like it's like I want something to happen. I was kind of glad two of those guys got knocked off.
Yeah, well, they're definitely headed. Well, that's I think the whole premise of Walking Dead is that eventually they're all going to die.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, I did read the comics up to a certain point. I know like Rick isn't supposed to have both his hands. That's why I thought he was going to have him cut his own arm off or whatever. Right. But I just, I mean, you know, and I'm sure at this point, dude, everyone involved in that show is like, dude, I can't even believe that this show's still going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, you know, that's why a lot of like, you know, like say Dexter is a perfect example if you watch that.
Uh-huh.
Like those first like 2 or 3 seasons were great because that's all that they thought it would be,
right.
You know, and then all of a sudden it gets into like goofy bill, you know, where they get these other writers in and it becomes like a Days of Our Lives thing.
Well, they went beyond the books.
Exactly.
So once you go beyond the books, it's like Game of Thrones. Like they've gone beyond the books.
Yeah.
And now they have to be as creative as the original writer.
Yeah.
And they're not.
Game of Thrones though is good because they have so many storylines. Like it's like you know you watch that and you're just kind of like I don't even like there's that chick on the dragon, that's cool.
Yeah,
you know. Or like
weird, let's go revisit the chick on the dragon.
Yeah,
like, you can always
ice zombie. Okay, yeah. It's like you can get through whatever story you don't like because there's like
there's another one that's more intriguing.
Exactly.
Right.
There's something there for everybody, which is I think the genius of that show. It's really not one show. It's like 20 shows in one.
Right.
And I think that's what I'd like to see a little bit from The Walking Dead is like just give us a little bit more like. More angles, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or start to tie Fear of the Walking Dead into The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And like show how those two start to merge together.
Because this is the thing. End of episode 1, you know, they have Daryl. Yeah, they just killed 2 of your people. They're like, okay, man, go produce for us. We'll be back in a week. Really?
Right.
Like, dude, get that. Like, I'd be like, we're leaving.
Right.
Oh, but they have all the roads blocked off. No. Like that you get weapons and you get the hell out of there, dude.
Right.
Like this dude just you know what I mean? Like you go, okay, well, and maybe they'll do that, who knows. But to me, like, you know, fight or flight, like in a situation like that where you just got your ass handed to you, you know, and you didn't fight then, you didn't fight when you had a chance to kill the leader.
Right.
You know, you're clearly not fighting.
Right.
So get the hell out of there.
Well, and the other thing is the whole reason that they were in the camper to get out of there was because they had to help save the baby.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, what happened to that side thing? Like, yeah, she's like, I'm still going to go. Go where?
Yeah.
And why? Like, I
and
mean,
how?
Like, yeah, like if she's that sick where she can't even like sit up. Now
she couldn't move before, but now apparently she can walk.
Yeah, she can bury Glenn. I mean, like, come on, have some consistency.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, listen to us getting all fired up.
I don't. What was this podcast about again?
I know. What
All right. So anyway, on to other things. So we'll see what happens in episode 3. Maybe it'll bring it back around for us.
I hope that they introduce like a. Actually, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be about Daryl. Episode 3 is about Daryl's captivity,
right? And like trying to turn Daryl, to like one of their guys.
Yeah, which is cool,
right? And that I kind of see them going the direction of making Daryl like part of.
Oh, so you think,
and then he'll turn at the last minute, and
or do you think this like they're going to like psychologically like melt Daryl into a bad guy?
Well,
and then him and Rick are going to square off.
No, I think. Well, I think that's what they're hoping will happen.
Yeah.
But the reality is, in the last second, you're going to think he's a bad guy, and then he's going to turn around and kill like fucking the bat carrying guy, whatever his name is.
But doesn't Deegan or Egan or something? Doesn't Rick have to kill Egan because he's like, I'm going to kill you? Like, doesn't he have to fulfill that prophecy?
It starts with an N.
Negan.
Yeah. That's what I think. That's the direction I think it'll go. Because too many people like Daryl.
But what about the clash of like the kingdom versus? I mean, that's gonna be so lame, right? You think the tiger kills Egan?
Maybe. Remember, he's already set it up so that he said like this cat would never hurt me.
Yeah.
So, ponderous. So many things to ponder.
Man.
I don't know. Hopefully, people who are listening to this will write us with their ideas of what happened. Maybe send us some pictures of what's going to happen.
Yeah, draw pictures.
Draw
for me,
pictures. Please. Anyway, let us know. We're interested. All you have to do is send us an email at contact@vomitingrainbows.com. We'd love to hear. So on to more beautiful topics.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Ashley Hutt and another guy named Leroy McIver. Not McIver, McIver.
Ashley Hutt. Okay, I'm getting my piece of paper out, dude. Hold on.
Okay. So apparently she has 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And the children were found in the home and filled with rat droppings, drug needles, and heroin.
So it's safe to say Ashley's kids are junkies?
Well, if they're not junkies yet, they were certainly headed that direction.
How old are the kids?
They were, I think, 2, 4, and 8.
Oh, that's horrible, dude. Okay, I thought they were like, okay. So she's the junkie and she's neglecting her kids here.
No. Even better is that apparently she decided, 2, 4, and 6. Someone contacted Child Protective Services and said, you need to get over to this house right away because when they wanted to party, the kids would act up. And so to keep them from acting up, they would shoot them with feel-good juice.
Oh, I heard about this.
Which is heroin.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
It's crazy. They said they're not guilty, that's not what happened. And they did find heroin in the older 2 children, but not the youngest.
Dude, if you're giving heroin to a 4 and 6-year-old, I mean that is so beyond criminal. That is so beyond.
But dude, what if you want them to sleep?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like Benadryl for that or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, the point is, like, that is so. Like, I don't know.
Dude, but imagine this: like, these are your little kids, and you're injecting them with heroin.
Well, I mean, this is an interesting insight to the mind of a junkie, right? I mean, someone who's high on heroin and that drug is their priority in life. They love that drug more than anything, even their own children. I mean, it's hard to as a parent or just as a rational thinking human being, it's hard to put yourself in that mindset. But this is just this is just like a peek into that reality, like how demented you must be.
Well, and. So I read the comments on Heavy. Heavy.com is where we get a lot of our stories. And one of the things that one of her friends actually posted and said that she was getting set up.
She's getting set up?
Yeah, but if she's getting set up.
So who's injecting these kids with drugs?
It doesn't make any sense. I think it's clearly, like, if you go to, if you read the description of what the sheriff said the house was like.
How do people in CPS stay sane? I mean, God bless them, man, for saving kids' lives. But I mean, it must just here I am earlier. I was talking. I'm kind of like, right? You know what I mean? Like kind of like, kind of apathetic. I mean, it's got to be like one of the hardest jobs. It's just seeing what depths of bad people can go to when it comes to kids. It's like, geez.
Well, think of how the election obviously has stilted us.
Yeah.
Imagine if you see this every day, you start to become, I'm sure, extremely jaded.
Yeah, jaded or just more inspired. Like I got to help more kids. I mean,
maybe.
I think people that work in situations like that or have jobs like that, they have it's like a special gift.
Yeah. So Hutt, the girl, Ashley Hutt, she chastised this other friend or someone she knew and said they would get what's coming to them because one of the babies drank a bong of meth and died. And,
what?
Yeah.
Wait, one of the 2, 4, 6-year-olds, or is this a
no,
baby?
No, like a friend. So she posted on Facebook like this, like scathing, like you're going to get what's coming to you.
To Ashley Hutt.
No, to her. Ashley Hutt posted this, like scathing, comment towards someone else whose child died.
Oh my God!
And she's shooting her kids with heroin. Like what the?
Wait a second. Ashley Hutt has a friend who lost a baby because the baby drank meth bong water.
Yeah. So these are winning people. It's insane. It's crazy.
What does that even taste like?
I don't know. It's probably not good.
Like, they have like a flavor of gum for that? It's so gross.
I think there's a Jelly Belly.
Doug, it's really hard to hear stories like this when they involve kids like this. I mean, it makes me angry.
There was another story that I wanted to tell you.
Yeah,
but I just couldn't even go there. It was
felt
just,
like off the rails.
It was one that just brought me to. It was too sad. So it was
too sad for Doug.
It was too sad for me.
Oh my God!
It was not appropriate for like we go into some pretty weird shit, but this one I was just like I can't.
Too dark for Doug.
It was too dark for me.
You got to put that in a file, and one day we'll do Too Dark for Doug.
All right,
like a Too Dark for Doug vomiting rainbows, and just bring like the 3 stories that like you can't even handle, and I might not even react to them. I might just cry.
All right, yeah, it was literally one where I like a lot of these make your heart sink, but this just like I just got like it was so cold, like I couldn't believe that one had happened.
Yeah,
you might have. I'll tell you the story.
No.
All right.
Let's focus on Ashley Hutt. I mean, this one is this one's horrific. But Ashley Hutt. So basically, they're saying that she was drugging her 2, 4, 6-year-old, at least the 4 and 6-year-old.
Yep.
They had heroin in them. House was filthy. Drugs, needles everywhere. Ashley Hutt. What's she saying? One of her friends is defending her, saying she's being set up.
Right.
What is Ashley Hutt like? What's the story? Like when CPS or police come to your house and you have drugs and needles and
obviously your children's welfare. She is at least hugely liable for child neglect.
Of course.
At the worst case scenario, she didn't know that her boyfriend, they're not sure if it's the father of the baby, but at maximum, she knew that he was doing this. So they haven't completely figured out where things are at this point. But the positive is that the children are in child protective services. They're in foster care, and they're doing very well, apparently.
Great. What does Ashley have to say about this? Like, what's she, is she saying
she's not saying anything at this point. They haven't. She's been in jail since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the end of it was they showed in Ohio a police department shared this. The same police department shared a notice about a couple found in a car, and they had both OD'd and died in the car, and their child was sitting in the back seat in its like car carrier.
I saw this. Yeah, I saw this, and that was right around the same time. There was also, I don't know if you saw this though. There was a guy. He was trying to make some type of like viral video to show junkies like if you have kids, like how devastating it can be. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
This kid. So this dude, quote unquote, this kid might have been like 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, and he's sitting with his grandma at a picnic bench, and the young boy's father is like filming this with his iPhone, and he goes, hey Jesse, like whatever the kid's name was, and he goes, your mom died last night. Ooh. And like the little kid's like, my mom? And he's like, yeah, your mom's dead. And the kid just, naturally reacts, like just freaks out, starts crying, hugging his grandma. And the guy's like, yeah, she overdosed last night.
My God.
And I'm just like, dude, what is wrong with this dude? who films, and I guess he was a heroin junkie and he'd been clean for like 30 days.
Right.
So he thought it'd be like, now he's on some crusade to try to get everyone, clean. But it's like, what? Like, don't you run that by somebody, dude? Like, you just like,
things you do not do.
I saw the video, and it was just, it was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. And then, then you step back from seeing that, and you're like, what? Like, this guy's this kid's dad, and this is how he, like, it's just, oh my God, like,
it makes you want to run up and hug your parents just for being wonderful.
Totally. It makes you want to run up and hug that little kid. And she's like, dude, like, it's devastating, man. But I remember it was right around that same time where it showed those two. Right. And the Ohio Police Department, they published that to kind of.
They said we have an incredible epidemic in Ohio right now, and this is symptomatic of it. And if we don't get control, this is going to happen more often, and we're going to have more kids. So. That being said,
I think what Doug's trying to say is drugs are bad.
No, drugs are fine, just in moderation.
Yeah, just no needles, please.
No needles.
Right?
Yeah, just stay away from needles and crack.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Miranda K. Rader?
No, but I like the Raiders.
Yeah, there you go. So she's a student in Texas. She crashed into a police cruiser, and she was drunk driving. Guess what she was doing?
Texting?
Snapchatting.
That's
why you got to get this Snapchat.
Got to get that Snapchat.
So,
am I lame for not being on Snapchat? I thought that was something like, I don't know. Are you on Snapchat?
I'm on Snapchat, but I really use it to get the filter. I'm trying to get the vomiting rainbow I'm doing it for our podcast.
Yeah. I know there's like certain like social etiquette as far as different forms of social media, whether you should be on them or not. You know what I mean? Like I'm ancient. I'm an old man. I remember when there wasn't a thing called the internet. Right. Therefore, I probably shouldn't be on Snapchat.
Well, the reason that millennials have gravitated towards Snapchat is because you can do anything you want on Snapchat and it disappears.
Well, that's what they say.
So they say. Yeah.
And that is a perfect example of why older generations that remember pre-internet know that that's not true.
Exactly.
And it's only because people grow up in this artificial internet world where they believe whatever they see online that they think that doesn't keep on existing somewhere in some type of file or some type of.
Oh, it's totally there.
It's totally there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that there's a certain generation of people that don't understand what privacy is, don't understand what, and it doesn't matter to them. It's not important to them because they have no reference point to how things used to be or why it's important to have those types of things in your life.
Right.
I'm sure someday, one of these guys will be running for president and they'll be like, well, we just uncovered his Snapchat videos from when he was 16.
Right.
Look at him jerking off in public on this bench. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah. So that goes perfectly into Miranda. Miranda is 19. When the police were actually investigating a domestic disturbance, and they came out to find this car rammed into the back of their police car.
Wow!
And they got the girl out. She had a bottle of wine in the car. She was drinking. She had been drinking. They asked her how much of the bottle. There was 1/3 of the bottle left. And they asked her how much she had, and she said basically
third bottle.
She said basically the other half of the bottle, or the other 2/3 of the bottle. So, then she gets but
now was she Snapchatting this while she was getting arrested?
No, what she was doing was putting on her bra and trying to get her shirt back on. So what she had been doing was driving drunk and Snapchatting herself topless to her boyfriend.
Wow. Yeah. See, this is another example of why everything's wacky in the world with the internet. I mean, is it a long distance relationship? Are they the same? I mean, my point is like if you have a girlfriend who's taking her like on a Saturday night or a Wednesday night, who's taking her like you should be with her, like you know what I mean? Like it seems like people spend more time on the internet texting their private parts than they actually spend with their private parts together.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole point of having a boyfriend/girlfriend. I mean, is that an old way of thinking? Or maybe, Doug, it's possible that the whole concept of a boyfriend and girlfriend now is different. Like, it's not necessarily about physical contact. It's about having someone that you can just Snapchat, kind of like soft porn to or something. Like, I don't know. Is that what it is now? I mean, I don't.
It's basically a way to send photos to your significant other without them staying and not.
I know what Snapchat is. I'm saying is that what a boyfriend and girlfriend have become? Like it's just not someone that you actually get together with physically. It's just someone that you send pictures to each other with. Like
no.
Because that's my point. Is like unless she was driving to his house, I'd be like, why are you sending me? Like, come over.
Right.
Like, why are you driving around randomly drinking wine?
I think that's what the come over was.
Okay. Yeah.
So. Miranda had, of course, horribly shared a link of a teen who was killed. She shared this on her Facebook and said, you should learn from this incident of a teen who was killed.
Drunk driving.
Mm-hmm. And so, again, unfortunate. And and she's now charged with a DUI. She's been released from jail for $2,000 bail, but like,
wait a second. Now you're telling me, I mean, I know DUI, it's $2,000, $10,000. It's expensive when you just get pulled over. There's got to be some added charge when you crash into the back of a cop car. Like there has to be like the nth level, right? I mean,
that's just amazing.
As far as destruction of property, I mean, obviously you could seriously hurt or murder somebody.
Yeah. I think they're probably not going to. She stayed at the scene. She was very cooperative.
I'm surprised she stayed at the scene.
Yeah. Well, at least she did. Otherwise, it would have gotten really bad for her.
Yeah.
But, she...
Where was this at? What city?
That was in Texas. So she's like a freshman in college. And,
maybe the cops in Texas are like, they're just used to it. Like, school.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's a party school.
It is a party school. As definitely detailed in this. So it's unfortunate, and now her life is going to be off the rails because of that. So the moral is, don't do drugs, don't drink and drive, don't Snapchat and drive.
Yeah, especially with your, well, I mean, I don't know. I can't, I mean, it's kind of cool, like being topless and stuff, but it's just.
Being topless? Is it kind of cool?
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Topless is kind of, I like being topless. I don't like wearing a shirt. I think it'd be cool if we evolve where we could just all walk around with shirts off.
I didn't even comment today that you're wearing a different shirt than you normally.
I know.
You haven't worn the same shirt for the last 3 times. So this time, I think you purposely changed the rotation.
I think I did. I think I saw it, and I reached for it, and I was like, oh, wait.
You went, no.
I'm like, that's that blue shirt I always wear. I better wear a different blue shirt.
Lake Chabot.
Yep, this one is Big Basin State Park in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Right,
one of my favorite places to go.
You're always repping some sort of park somewhere.
I am. I love the outdoors, man. I'm like a nature boy. I spend my time, in the trees rather than in front of my TV, except when Walking Dead's on.
or Snapchatting.
Yeah, or Snapchatting.
Right.
I mean, it's true. It's true. I feel like the more social media evolves, the less attached I become to mainstream society.
There you go.
Which I enjoy. I love being alternative. It's like that guy only has 4 apps on his phone, bro. Is he from the 90s? Who's that guy?
You're still like printing out Yahoo Maps to get to places.
Dude, MapQuest, bro. I still use MapQuest.
MapQuest. Is that even around?
I think so.
No, I don't think so.
I think I started using Google Maps, but I mean, I'd say up to about 2 years ago, I definitely used MapQuest.
Oh wow.
Yeah, old school, bro.
I don't know if I would admit that. we can cut that out of the podcast. Anyway, so that's Vomiting Rainbows, episode 13, Halloween edition, and please follow us on Twitter. We're We Vomit Rainbows. On Instagram, same thing. And we're We Vomit Rainbows on Facebook. And if you like this, please share it with your friends and send us an email. And subscribe to us on Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher.